CATV is proudly presented by Toyota.
100 test matches for England. If someone had told you that a decade ago, would you have believed it?
Not in a million years. I probably wouldn't have believed it last year or the year before, or the year before that. It's an incredible personal achievement and an incredible journey. So much good stuff, a couple of bad things. But would I do anything differently? I've enjoyed the ride.
I bet. The symmetry is amazing. You began against Australia at Lord's, 2005, and you make 100 here against Australia at the start of a series at the Gabba. It's the ultimate challenge, isn't it, for anybody, the Australian?
It is, absolutely. Ashes cricket is where you get judged. I think as an Australian and as an Englishman, that's where you get judged on your career, on how you go in Ashes cricket, because they are the fiercest of battles. And it's the battles that we all enjoy. I've loved every single occasion of playing.
What do you remember about 2005, walking out at Lord's against Australia for the first time? Other than your haircut.
Wow, let's leave the haircut, please, Mark. Please, that's something we just can't go over. I was young. I was free. I was playing without any fear. I was just. I mean, I've played my career pretty much without any fear because I've always backed my ability. But I do remember in 2005, it was just such an incredible sort of buzz. I mean, the whole thing just gripped the nation. Everywhere you went, everybody was watching the cricket. So as a player, it was just in your face how pressurised the zone was. But walking out to bat at Lord's, I think we were 4 or 5 down. McGrath had us 4 or 5 down for nothing. And what have you got to lose as a youngster? It's your first test match. You've got a good friend in the opposition. And you're 4 or 5 down. McGrath's knocked down the whole of the top order. I'm in fairly decent nick.
You hit him into the pavilion.
It was a great start. Yeah, it was a sign of things to come, wasn't it?
You talk about your mate, but you mean Shane Warne.
Yeah.
Would you say that the battles with Warne are the ultimate experience you've had in cricket?
You watch the guy, the great man, how he operated for years and years and years. And luckily I'd had a few net sessions at Hampshire and stuff, so I'd got pretty friendly with Warnie, and we started our relationship and got a real good relationship. It's very similar personalities. And
extrovert, you mean?
I wouldn't say I'm an extrovert, but we're like on the cricket field. We're definitely at you. We're thinking of different things. We're not scared to do different things, and we want to think outside the box.
Entertainers.
Not your stereotype. This is the way cricket has to be played. We are entertainers. I feel we have entertained. Yeah, but yeah, Warnie running into bowl, that was another surreal moment. Glenn McGrath, Brett Lee, all these guys that you've grown up and I've been playing county cricket and seen all these superstars, and all of a sudden I'm in an Ashes series going, we're 20 for 4. Where have I got to go? Yeah, I've got to do something, and the rest is history.
And that's a beautiful stroke with which to make a maiden test century.
Your journey's remarkable. We won't dwell on the South Africa thing, but we can't disguise the fact that you come from an English mother and an Afrikaans father. So what do you think they gave you?
Look, I am so proud of the way I was brought up. Very strict, very respectful, taught the value of things.
So having come out of that, how can a man write a biography of you called Portrait of a Rebel?
Quite simply, I think I was brought up so strict that when you let free and you let loose as a kid at 20 years of age, you're going to go and try other things, and you're going to go enjoy the things that all your mates would do when you were 16, 17, 18 and you weren't allowed to do. So it's fairly simple.
Do you see yourself as a rebel? Do you see yourself as contrary or challenging or high maintenance? You've had difficult moments.
Yeah, I have. I think I'm very headstrong. And I mean, goodness, I'll be able to write a pretty good book at the end of my career talking about the situations that I've got myself in and why they've happened. But listen, you have ups and downs in life. You only learn when you're at rock bottom. I know I've learned a lot about myself when I've been at rock bottom, and also challenging coming as a South African across into England in 2013 years ago, I mean, one of the first songs I heard in the dressing room was I've never met a nice South African, and that got drummed in, and I did really well in my first season at Nottinghamshire, and the blue-eyed boy, who was the big man in the dressing room, was starting to get eased out by the South African kid, and so there was a lot of jealousy and lots of nonsense that I've had to deal with. I've always learned by knocking my head, by banging my head, and it's not the worst way to go. I mean, I think I've turned out okay, and I'm so happy with where my life is at now. I couldn't be happier.
Well, let's go back to this 100 test thing then, and talk about the fact that you're the highest run scorer for England ever. I mean, weird.
It's weird. It's weird. When a journalist said that to me after I'd got that 100 at Old Trafford in the summer, he said, "You know that you've broken the record for the most runs ever by any Englishman to have played the game," and I just sat and I went, "Excuse me?" and I think he might have thought that I was being a bit offish in my response, but I was so taken aback, so sort of away with it, that when I walked down the stairs and I walked out of the room and then I walked into the elevator, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, no. It's one of them things where you pinch yourself and you go.
What do you most enjoy about that reflection? Is it the idea that you've entertained people? Is it the idea that you're able to play against the best and defeat them? Is it the idea that you can help a team to great things, or is it a combination?
A culmination of all those three. Clearly the personal achievements are great, and something that I'll probably cherish when I'm finished and go, wow, that was pretty cool. There were some cool days in my career.
Kevin Pietersen, good luck in test number 100. Thank you.
Thanks. Cheers, Monkey.
Cheers, buddy.